Hi, guys. I'm going to run you through a very brief review of By Any Other Name before you move into your one-pager that goes along with it to help you review for your test on Thursday. When is your test? Your test is on Thursday. So make sure that you're going through these stories. If you haven't read them, if you didn't submit those notes from last week, if you didn't look at the one-pager for Goldfish Wish yesterday, you're falling a little bit behind. So let's make sure that you're taking care of business so that way you can be as prepared as possible for that major grade coming up, okay? All right, so what we're seeing here is our quick review over By Any Other Name by Santha Rama Rao. Okay, so pre-reading thoughts. Before you jumped into your reading, think about some of those essential questions that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks with this first unit. How do we engage with others while staying true to ourselves? Okay, that's very important, especially at high school age. Okay, how do you be true to who you are and the beliefs that you share while trying to keep up with all the people around you? How important is a person's name? Think about how would you react if someone took your name and assigned you a new one? Okay, maybe you want a new name, but for most of us, our name carries a lot of who we are. I can tell you just from my perspective, whenever I got married, it took a lot to change my last name. My original last name was very heavily tied to my background, my Czech Bohemian background. So going from Janacek, that starts with a J, to Witt, that's just W-I-T-T, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to change my family's name, but that connection is still there. Okay, so those are some things to think about. Okay, so we're looking at some historical context. This was part of the pre-reading in the HMH textbook. It says that at the time of this account, this occurred around 1928, India was a colony of Great Britain. Educated Indians were expected to learn English in addition to their native language. Many languages are spoken in India. Okay, if you didn't know that, it's a very diverse area there. The headmistress or principal of Santha's school was British, and most of the students that she attended school with were British. They were the children of British civil servants who were sent to India as colonial rulers. Great Britain ruled the Indian subcontinent from 1858 to 1947. So that just kind of sets up a background for us. Okay, so what we've read here, it was a memoir. So what is a memoir? A memoir kind of sounds like memory, so probably something that happened to someone. So it's a true story that's told as a memory, usually in the past tense. The author is your narrator, and they're using first-person point of view. This does not retell the whole life. It only tells a specific story that was encountered. Very similar to that anecdote that we talked about last week for your persuasive essay. And looking at the difference between that and narrative writing. A selected memory or memories reflect a message or a life lesson. So when you think of this story, whose memoir are we reading? We're reading the author, Santha's, okay? So to analyze the point of view that Santha brings to her experiences at school, identify details of history and culture that help to define India during that time. Well, during that time, you're being ruled by Britain, okay? So there's probably a huge cultural gap there, okay? Make those inferences about her perspectives based on what you kind of see throughout the text. Okay, so we're gonna think about this while we're reading through here. Think about character interaction. That was a big concept that was discussed during the reading. So it says that this one little snippet that I took says, my sister answered for me, I'm Pramila, and she, nodding in my direction, is Santha. The headmistress had been in India, I suppose, 15 years or so, but she still smiled her helpless inability to cope with Indian names. Her rimless half glasses glittered, and the precarious, if you want to look up that in your text, it does help you interact with the vocab. So if you're not sure what that word means, make sure that you're checking that out. There's some great resources throughout that textbook. Remember Ed, your friend from ClassLink? Bun on the top of her head trembled as she shook her head. Oh, my dears, those are much too hard for me. Suppose we give you pretty English names. Wouldn't that be more jolly? Let's see. Now, Pamela for you, and I think she shrugged in a baffled way at my sister. That's as close as I can get. And for you, she said to me, how about Cynthia? Isn't that nice? No, not really. Okay. So you're thinking here, okay, what can I do to make my life easier? I'm going to take away your identity, your connection to your background. No. So think about how you would describe that interaction. Okay. I would say that's not a pleasant one for me, but think about how you would describe what was just kind of looked at there. Okay. So then towards the end, mom and the older sister are talking. They leave the school. And they're saying, do you suppose that she understood? And Pramila said, I shouldn't think so. She's a baby, talking about Santa. And mom says, well, I hope it won't bother her. And she says, of course, they were both wrong. She said that I understood very clearly what had happened. And she says, but I've tucked that memory away because that happened to a girl called Cynthia. And I was never particularly interested in her. So she says, that happened to a whole different piece of me, a whole different identity who I didn't have any connection to. So what is this show about her experience and her understanding of identity? She was able, no matter the challenges that she was facing, she was able to stay true to who she was, okay, at a very young age. Okay, so your overall themes, staying true to oneself even when you're facing challenges, and realizing how important identity and culture can be to a person's understanding of their true self. And by taking that away, we're taking those very important aspects of who they are, what makes them who they are, away with it. Okay? All right, so the one pagers so far have been looking really good. I'm really impressed. So many of y'all are so artistically gifted. I wish I could draw like some of y'all. But they've all been looking great. I hope that it's been a good way to review for these concepts that you're going to see on the test. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Let us know. Have a great day. Bye.